It's 10 a.m. by the studio clock. You're watching Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha TV with me, Tina Jha. Let's get started with the top stories this hour. BJP announces candidate lists for Assam and West Bengal Assembly polls. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's grandnephew fielded against Mamata Banerjee. Rajya Sabha clears National Waterways Bill, clearing way for conversion of 111 rivers across the country as national waterways. Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari says move will reduce transportation cost considerably. Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi says top priority to bring liquor baron Vijay Mallya back to India. This after the government informed Supreme Court that Mallya is not in the country. Mallya owes 9,000 crore rupees to banks. Sri Ravi Shankar to challenge NGT's decision to impose fine of 5 crore rupees for cultural fest to be held in Delhi for Friday. NGT had levied fine as environmental compensation but given a go-ahead to the event. And Pakistan seeks assurance from the Indian government on complete security to its cricketers despite venue for its encounter with India in the World T20 being shifted from Dharamshala to Kolkata. Well, the Rajya Sabha has cleared the National Waterways Bill. The bill allows conversion of 111 rivers across the country into national waterways. Now, Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari allayed fears of the opposition parties who raised concerns over rights of states and environmental pollution.
Parliament has given nod to the bill to convert 111 rivers across the country into national waterways. The bill was cleared in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. The bill is aimed at boosting movement of goods and passengers via rivers and is expected to reduce transportation cost substantially. The Lok Sabha had approved the bill earlier this year. Road Transport, Highways and Shipping Minister Nitin Gadkari replied at length to all issues concerning the bill raised by opposition members. He said that due importance will be given to environmental concerns and that all states concerned will be taken on board.
स्थानिक लोगों को रोजगार मिले, फिशरमैन, भल्ला, निषाद, इनको फिशरीज के लिए और अच्छा मौका मिले और उनके अधिकारों का रक्षण करें। राज्य सरकार का कोई मिनरल हम नहीं निकालेंगे, जो अधिकार होगा उनका होगा।
The bill provides for enacting a central legislation to declare 106 additional inland waterways as national waterways, in addition to 5 existing national waterways. Allaying fears of state governments that the new law will infringe upon their rights, Gadkari said it will in fact boost maritime trade with the states and augment their economy. The Congress sought clarity on how the government aims to boost transport through the bill.
As far as transport is concerned, what type of transport you would like to carry through these rivers? I can understand one is that goods, etc. What other type of transport? Human transport, other type of goods? Specify the goods you intend to carry through the transport.
The Samajwadi Party raised the issue of livelihood of fishermen while the JDU raised questions over rights of states. The two parties also sought reservation for fishermen in the bill.
विदेशी पार्टियों को ये नदियां अगर उनको दे देंगे तो महोदय वो जलयान न चला करके वहाँ पे खनन कार्य में लग जाएंगे, कह देंगे हमारा तो यहाँ पर ये नदियाँ तो हमारी हो गई, पट्टा हो गया।
नदियों के बारे में भी जो हमारे कंसेप्ट हैं इंडियन कल्चर के, इंडियन सोसाइटी के, वो बड़े पवित्र हैं। जैसे गंगा है तो गंगा नहीं कहते हम, या तो गंगा मैया कहते हैं, गंगा जी हमारे मुँह से निकलता है। तो इनकी जो पवित्रता है, इनकी जो प्रामाणिकता है, उसका भी आप ध्यान रखेंगे।
Government is obliged to pay the compensation to victims and also has to honor the orders of Motor Accident Claims Tribunal. This way, government is losing revenue, sir.
I would like to ask the minister, what is the plan for these sanctuaries? There is the Vikramshila Gangetic Dolphin Sanctuary in Bhagalpur. In the Prime Minister's constituency, we have a turtle sanctuary from Ramnagar Fort to Asighat. We have a national Chambal sanctuary. So how are you going to address these sanctuaries? How do they fit in with these waterway issues that you're planning?
Justifying the measure, the Transport Minister regretted that the waterways has taken a back seat in India, with only 3.5% of trade being done through the mode. He informed the House that the figure is negligible as compared to countries like China with 47%, Europe with 40%, Japan and Korea with 44% and Bangladesh with 35%. Panchanan Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And in news from the upcoming assembly elections, the BJP has released its first list of candidates both for Assam and West Bengal. The party has announced its candidates against the chief ministers of both states. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose's grandnephew has been fielded against West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee.
The BJP has announced the names of 52 candidates for the 294-member West Bengal Assembly polls. Subhash Chandra Bose's grandnephew Chandra Kumar Bose has been fielded against Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee.
Shri Chandra Kumar Bose will be the Bharatiya Janata Party candidate against Mamata Banerjee.
पश्चिम बंगाल वाम फ्रंट सरकार देखा है 34 साल, 5 साल से टीएमसी सरकार भी देखा है। कभी भाजपा सरकार बीजेपी सरकार का ये एक चांस मिलना चाहिए।
West Bengal State Party Chief Dilip Ghosh will contest Kharagpur Sadar seat. Bengali film and TV actress Locket Chatterjee will contest Mayureshwar, while Samik Bhattacharya, who became the first BJP MLA in the assembly after winning a by-poll, will fight from Bashirhat Dakshin, which he currently represents. Actor Joy Banerjee will try his luck from Suri. The party also announced the names of 88 candidates for the Assam elections. These includes its chief ministerial candidate Sarbanand Sonowal. Lok Sabha MP Kamakhya Prasad Tasha has been fielded against Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi. The party's Central Election Committee cleared the names for all but 2 of the 90 seats it will contest in the polls for the 126-member state assembly.
हमारे सर्बानंद सोनवाल जी, जिनके नेतृत्व में चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं, वो मझौली सीट, जो कि आइलैंड ऑफ असम है, चारों तरफ से पानी से घिरा हुआ है, उस सीट से चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं। हमारे कामाख्या प्रसाद तासा, जो मेंबर पार्लियामेंट हैं, वो टीटाबार से तरुण गोगोई के खिलाफ चुनाव लड़ रहे हैं।
असम का लोगों ने मान तय कर ली है, क्योंकि अगली दिनों में असम की हितों के लिए और असम की उन्नति के लिए, असम की विकास के लिए जनता ने तय किया है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को सरकार बनाने में जनता मदद करेंगे।
तरुण गोगोई जी का जो कार्यक्रम रहा, खास करके जो लास्ट 3 साल का उनका जो गवर्नेंस था, ये बहुत ही रिवेंजफुल था, बहुत ही अंडर परफॉर्मिंग था, और खास करके उन्होंने जो असम का जो हमारा लोकल जो इंडियन लोगों का जो आइडेंटिटी है वो खतरा में लाके खड़ा कर दिया। तो ये इलेक्शन हमारा आइडेंटिटी के लिए है, हमारा अस्तित्व के लिए है, और हमें एक राजनीतिक दल हिसाब से नहीं, एक भारत का भारतीय मूल का जो समूह है सबको लेके एक अस्तित्व रेखा का हिसाब से ये इलेक्शन हम लोग लड़ेगा।
Assam goes to the polls in 2 phases on 4th of April and 11th of April. 6-phase polling will be held in West Bengal beginning 4th of April and ending on May 5. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The National Green Tribunal has fined Sri Sri Ravi Shankar's Art of Living Foundation 5 crore rupees for organizing the World Culture Festival on the Yamuna floodplains. The tribunal also slammed the authorities for allowing the event to take place on the ecologically sensitive banks of the river. The 3-day event begins tomorrow. Sri Sri Ravi Shankar will now challenge the fine imposed on his foundation.
The Art of Living Foundation's World Culture Festival will go ahead as planned. The National Green Tribunal has, however, slapped a fine of 5 crore rupees on AOL. The Art of Living Foundation will pay this amount as environment compensation before the festival is to begin. The tribunal has also fined 5 lakh rupees on DDA and rupees 1 lakh on the Delhi Pollution Control Committee for not discharging their statutory functions.
एक्सपर्ट कमेटी को 4 हफ्ते का समय दिया गया है कि उस 4 हफ्ते में वो ये डिटरमिन करें कि वहाँ कितनी डैमेज हुई है, उसकी रिस्टोरेशन कॉस्ट की कितना खर्चा लगेगा। एनवायरनमेंट का वायलेशन हुआ है, एनवायरनमेंट रूल्स का वायलेशन हुआ है, एनजीटी के ऑर्डर्स का वायलेशन हुआ है।
मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कि कुछ लोग जो एनजीटी को कंसल्ट किए या वहां गए, अगर एक बार हम लोगों से बात करते, हम लोगों से मिलते और पर्यावरण की सुरक्षा और पर्यावरण को बढ़ाने के लेकर आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग का जो पिछले 35 साल का जो रिकॉर्ड है, इतिहास है, अगर उसके बारे में वो जानते समझते तो शायद वो किसी और दरवाजे पे नहीं जाते।
Earlier, the centre had defended the event, claiming it was being organised with all required permissions. Backing the Art of Living founder Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, the centre had also said his intentions cannot be doubted as he was committed to protecting the environment.
मैं आपको पूरी तरह से स्पष्ट कर रही हूँ, श्री श्री रविशंकर के कार्यक्रम को स्वीकृति देने या स्वीकृति नहीं देने में हमारे मंत्रालय का कोई रोल नहीं है और ये वक्तव्य अब मेरा मंत्री के नाते नहीं है, बल्कि एक समाज सेवी राजनेता के नाते है। तो मुझे तो ये यकीन है कि श्री श्री वहाँ कार्यक्रम करेंगे तो गंगा यमुना थोड़ा ठीक हो जाएंगी।
देखिए, इसको राजनीतिक कारणों से इसका विरोध नहीं होना चाहिए। ये भारत की संस्कृति का उत्सव है, भारत की सभ्यता का उत्सव है, भारत की कल्चर एंड रिच हेरिटेज को वर्ल्ड को शोकेस करने का उत्सव है। वी शुड ऑल सपोर्ट इट।
सरकारी बाबा हैं और भाजपा के बाबा हैं, ये तो सबको मालूम है। आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग वाले रविशंकर प्रसाद जी, श्री श्री रविशंकर जी, लेकिन स्वाभाविक रूप से सरकारी खर्च पे ये काम हो, ये बहुत अफसोस की बात है।
How are you violating the existing laws and decisions as far as environment is concerned, and how are you misusing the army to facilitate a private function?
Organised by Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, the founder of the Art of Living Foundation, the festival is slated to begin on Friday. The venue is spread across 1,000 acres on the banks of the Yamuna. It features a 7-acre stage for 35,000 musicians and dancers, newly built dirt tracks and 650 portable toilets. Environmentalists warned that the event and its 3.5 million visitors will destroy the fragile biodiversity of the area. President Pranab Mukherjee on Monday decided to pull out of the 3-day event. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
With that, we'll slip into a very short break here on Breakfast News. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries. Mondays, Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m.
Thanks for staying with us in Breakfast News. Now, the Supreme Court has issued a notice to Vijay Mallya on a petition of consortium of banks seeking disclosure of his assets and seizure of passport. This followed a statement by the government's top lawyer, Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi, who informed the court that Mallya left the country on the 2nd of March. The Apex Court has now given Mallya 2 weeks' time to respond to the notice. The next hearing has been scheduled for the 30th of March.
Vijay Mallya left India a week ago. The Supreme Court was told by the government on Wednesday. The UB Group's former chairman is facing legal proceedings for defaulting on loans of over 9,000 crore rupees from various banks.
I hope that ED will go one step ahead and they will look into the matter. At the same time, the recovery proceedings also, because already court has stayed everything. He can't operate his bank accounts and other things. I don't know where exactly he is, but certainly government will look into the matter.
According to Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi, Mallya left on 2nd March. The Supreme Court bench sought Mallya's response within 2 weeks on petitions filed by a consortium of banks seeking direction to freeze his passport and his presence before the court.
हमारा कहना ये है कि माल्या साहब वापस आए, यहाँ पर बैठे बैंक से बात करें और उन्होंने खुद कहा है कि मैं बैंक से नेगोशिएट करना चाहता हूँ। बैंक को तो अपने पैसे से मतलब है, पब्लिक फंड्स है, हम तो वेलकम करते हैं, यहाँ आए बैठे और बात करें और उनको पैसा दे दें, बात खत्म हो जाए।
अगर किसी भी व्यक्ति ने, चाहे वो कितना ही बड़ा हो, उसका स्टेटस कोई हो, अगर कोई चूक करी है, कोई गलतियां की हैं, तो उस पर कानून अपना कार्रवाई करे। इसमें भारत सरकार या पर्यटन या हमारे नागरिक उड्डयन मंत्रालय की कोई दखलंदाजी नहीं होगी।
The bench said the notice to Malia could be served through his official Rajya Sabha email ID, the Indian High Commission at London, and also through the council who are representing him before various courts, Debt Recovery Tribunal and his company. The government said Malia owes more than 9,000 crore rupees to various banks and on one or the other pretext has avoided to settle them.
एजेंसीज अपना काम करें, जो भी है, अगर कोई अपराध है तो अपराधियों के आधार पर, मतलब जो है कानून उसके आधार पर चलनी चाहिए। विजय मल्ल्या हमारे साथ हैं पार्लियामेंट के अंदर, वो मतलब जब आते हैं तो हर बार मुलाकात होती है, लेकिन अब कानून अपने काम करें।
We expect Supreme Court to give an order. We expect Supreme Court to impound his passport. We expect Supreme Court to see and ensure that he does not live in India, leave India, and is forced to pay back the loan that he has defaulted.
The industrialist is facing various proceedings in debt recovery tribunals in Bangalore and Goa. According to the government, Malia had assets both movable and immovable abroad that are in excess to loans secured by him here. He also said loans were granted to Kingfisher Airlines on the basis of its fleet of aircraft and brand value. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The Indian Space Research Organisation will today launch its 6th navigation satellite into orbit from the spaceport of Sriharikota in Andhra Pradesh. ISRO's trusted polar satellite launch vehicle C-32 will launch the Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System 1F. The 54.5-hour countdown began yesterday and is said to be progressing normally. This is the 6th navigation satellite of the 7 satellites in the IRNSS space system. Each satellite costs around 150 crore rupees. Now, this satellite aims at providing navigation accurately on par with the US-based Global Positioning System. ISRO scientists plan to put all 7 navigation satellites into orbit by March 2016. The last in the series is expected to be launched by this month end. Now, the UAE was battered by fierce winds, torrential rain and thunderstorms on Wednesday morning. The skies darkened as the storm hit Abu Dhabi, blowing down trees and lampposts and causing severe flooding. Winds of up to 126 kilometers per hour battered the capital. Over 240 millimeters of rainfall was recorded in an area between Dubai and Al Ain. Just after midday, Abu Dhabi International Airport tweeted that due to severe weather conditions, flights at Abu Dhabi International Airport are suspended until further notice. By 1:30 p.m., the airport said flights had resumed as normal. Flights were also delayed in Dubai. On the roads, there were numerous reports of lengthy tailbacks caused by flooding. Now, after Slovenia, Macedonia has also decided not to let any migrants through its border with Greece in an attempt to block the Balkan route north. Croatia and Serbia would now follow suit. The border restrictions come days after the EU-Turkey proposal to ease Europe's biggest refugee crisis at the summit in Brussels. Now, under the fresh proposal, all migrants arriving in Greece from Turkey would be sent back. For each Syrian returned, one Syrian in Turkey would be resettled in the EU. The condition of migrants, meanwhile, is worsening. Nearly 13,000 migrants are now stranded at the Macedonia-Greece border.
Actually, we were waiting for Germany to do something because this is how the things go normally. We heard in the meeting of Europe, we heard that Merkel said no border will be closed. So that's why we are waiting. If not, okay, tell us what we have to do. We have no other area to go, no other place.
Some more international updates in this quick world wrap. South Korea has confirmed that the North fired 2 short-range ballistic missiles into the sea off the east coast city of Wonsan on Thursday. Now, this comes just a day after Pyongyang's supreme leader Kim Jong-un declared that the country has miniature nuclear warheads. The US Democratic presidential frontrunner Hillary Clinton called for sanctions against Iran a day after Iran test-fired 2 ballistic missiles. Iranian officials said it was designed to be able to hit Israel. The missile test came despite a US warning. The US Special Forces captured an Islamic State chemical weapons expert, Sulaiman Daoud al-Afari from Iraq. He is now being interrogated. The US said the suspect was once a specialist in chemical and biological weapons for Saddam Hussein. However, the Pentagon is yet to confirm his capture. Brazilian prosecutors are filing corruption charges against the country's former president Lula da Silva in connection with the money laundering case at the state oil company Petrobras. Lula, of course, has denied any wrongdoing. He and his wife face questions over the alleged ownership of a seafront penthouse in an exclusive resort. However, charges still have to be formally accepted by a judge. Meanwhile, President Dilma Rousseff said Lula's questioning is unnecessary. Now, even as the venue for the India-Pakistan T20 World Cup match has been moved to Kolkata from Dharamshala, Pakistan is still seeking an assurance from the Indian government of complete security cover to its players. Pakistan is scheduled to play against its arch-rival India on the 19th of March, but the Pakistani team is still put on hold until the Indian government gives any assurance. The Pakistani Cricket Board said in a press release that our government is expecting an assurance to Pakistan against specific threats to the Pakistan team from various political parties and groups during the tour. Meanwhile, the ICC said that the decision was taken after Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister raised security concerns over the encounter. Earlier, Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif granted permission for Pakistan's cricket team to travel to India for the T20 tournament, but said a final decision will be taken by the country's Interior Minister. A 3-member Pakistan team had also visited Dharamshala on Tuesday to assess security arrangements. They, of course, returned dissatisfied.
The decision has been taken by the ICC to relocate the match between India and Pakistan from Dharamshala to Calcutta. The match will take place in Calcutta, Eden Gardens, on the same date and time as the originally announced match, that is the 19th of March at 7:30 p.m.
कलकत्ता बिल्कुल मंजूर है हमें और हम वेलकम करते हैं, अप्रिशिएट करते हैं इस चीज़ को। दूसरे ये है कि आप अपनी तरफ से हिंदुस्तान की हुकूमत कोई एश्योरेंस दे दे कि पाकिस्तान के जो खतरात हैं उस पर एक एश्योरेंस मिल जाना चाहिए।
It is up to them whether they want to play or not. It is up to the Cricket Board of India whether they want to play or not. And I said that so far Himachal Pradesh is concerned, no matter which team plays, we will provide them safety to the extent possible. Safety. So there was a lot of public resentment against the participation of Pakistan team in the Dharamshala match, and but that doesn't mean that we are not capable of handling it.
And let's now take a quick check at some of the other sports stories we are tracking this morning in Sports Beat. India had a bad day as both men and women players lost to their opponents in the first round of the All England Championship. Ajay Jairam and HS Pranoy failed to cross the opening hurdle. 2010 Commonwealth Games champions Jwala Gutta and Ashwini Punappa too suffered a 24-26, 17-21 loss to Samantha Banning and Iris Stabling of the Netherlands in the opening round of the women's doubles event. In men's doubles, Manu Atri and B. Sumit Reddy too went down fighting 21-16, 13-21, 15-21 against Malaysian combo of Kian Keat Koo and Boon Hyong Tan. Australian player Shane Watson says he will decide on his international cricket future at the conclusion of the World T20 tournament, which is currently underway in India. Watson admitted that he was pleasantly surprised when he got the call-up for Australia's T20 international side to take on India in January after he was overlooked for the preceding one-day international series. Dick Pound, chair of the World Anti-Doping Agency Independent Commission, said that athletic superpower Russia is running out of time to eradicate doping and may not be able to send a track and field team to this year's Rio Olympics. Russian athletes were banned from international competition after a report by Pound's commission revealing widespread doping and graft with the involvement of Russian and international athletics officials. Russian athletics authorities were ordered to carry out sweeping reforms to allow a lifting of the ban. That's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.